father and son at odds. The relation between Charles and Harry worse than before, never forgive. Grief is terrible but often a way to unite a family, and royal followers around the world hoped, despite it being through the most tragic of circumstances, that Her late Majesty's death in September would bring the royal family closer together than ever, specifically mending fences between Prince Harry and his father, King Charles, and brother, Prince William. But unfortunately, tensions seem to somehow be higher than ever. In regards to Harry and Charles' relationship, the new king caused a lot of damage by not allowing Harry to wear his military uniform to the Queen's funeral, Us Weekly reports, harming their rocky relationship even more, a royal expert says. I think that reconciliation might have been the intention, but the king's decision to initially not permit Harry to wear his uniform and during this funeral, and the fact that, at times, it seemed as if Harry and Meghan were being shoved in the background and even shunned, that did a lot of damage, I think, says royal author Christopher Anderson. So, I have to wait and see where they go with this. The ever-present, looming fear of the contents of Spare, Harry's memoir, set for release on January 10, 2023, isn't helping, Anderson adds. There could only be bombshells in that book, he says. There's no way to avoid the fact that it's going to rub the king the wrong way. Anderson says that Harry and wife Meghan Markle want to tell the full and true story of life inside the royal family, but it's not necessarily a pretty one. When Harry and Meghan stepped back as working members of the royal family in January 2020, Harry lost his royal patronages and his honorary military titles. Because of this, and despite having served 10 years in the British Army, Harry is no longer permitted to be in uniform for royal events ranging from trooping the colour to the Queen's funeral. The same holds true for Harry's uncle, Prince Andrew, who was stripped of his own royal titles this past January amidst accusations of sexual assault. That said, Andrew was allowed to wear his military uniform to Her late Majesty's final vigil as a special mark of respect, Us Weekly reports, and, at the last minute, in a dramatic U-turn, palace officials have informed Prince Harry that he can wear his military uniform at a final vigil, royal expert Omid Scobie wrote on Twitter on September 15, per Us Weekly. On Saturday evening, Harry will join 7 other grandchildren at Westminster Hall to stand in silence for 15 minutes by the Queen's coffin. Despite Harry and Andrew being permitted to be in uniform for the 2 respective vigils, neither were allowed to be in uniform for the Queen's state funeral on September 19, and the uniform debacle did nothing to soothe relations between father and son. Anderson says Charles remains hopeful that Harry will one day be back on good terms with the royal family, adding Charles would like everybody to be there and doing their job, and it's in his interest to get Harry back into the fold. I'm not so sure William is that interested. I think he's got much more of a grudge against Harry at this time. Prince Harry's memoir will have a different title in Spain, and it's even darker than the UK name, which has already been labelled yet another confrontational attack on the family after claiming a desire for privacy. The first of the Duke of Sussex's 3 books, Spare, is set to hit shelves around the world next year. Sources told the Mirror they were flabbergasted at the title, which is a nod to Harry's place below his older brother in the line of succession. But if they thought that was bad, they will be interested to see the Spanish version. The title over there will be Spare, en la sombra, which translates to Spare, in the shadows. The 416-page memoir is a provocative nod to the Duke of Sussex being a royal spare, not the first in line to succession. Taken from the famous phrase heir and a spare, casts focus on his relationship with his older brother Prince William, who is next in the line of succession. While Harry will never be king,